How's it going, guys? Your friendly neighborhood Ernie, back once again working on our BRZ. Now in the last two videos we added some Faction Fab FR coilovers and a sweet catback from AWE. Now don't worry, we'll get to our alignment and fitment issues in the next video, but today OLM has sent us a bunch of lighting goodies for the rear end of this car. This is OLM's rear LED refresh pack designed to save you some money versus buying all these pieces individually, while still giving you the option to choose from everything that they offer as if you were buying them individually. Now me, being the barbecue enjoyer that I am, I went for all smoked. I know, me and my dad jokes again. I'm sorry, I can't resist the urges sometimes, you know? But without further ado, today I'll be showing you guys how to install this whole pack, and we'll run through some of the functionalities of them and see if this fourth brake light, which contains, I believe, 22 reverse light LEDs, will make the backup camera a little bit easier to use in dark conditions. Let's get going. So OLM's refresh pack includes a fourth brake light, tail lights, and the up high mount light. So I think we'll start from the bottom and we'll work our way up. So first thing we have to do is remove the center diffuser piece. There's 3 clips on the bottom. And then this should be able to pop out. There's a bunch of rocks up under there, of course. Then we just have 2 10mm bolts. We'll remove those and then just unplug the connector on the back and she'll be free to go. Okay, connector's just gonna be back here. Of course, with a bunch of sand and stuff stuffed into it. There we go. Next, we'll need to remove one of our tail lights in order to connect our quick connect kit provided with the kit. We simply have to pop this cover off first. And that will reveal 2 10mm, and there's also a third 10mm on top. Once those 3 are out, there are a couple clips on the back of the taillight holding it in, so start pulling from this side. There we go. They're a little bit stubborn the first couple times you do that. Now we just gotta undo this connector and taillight is free to go. There we are. All right, now before we move on, we gotta do everyone's least favorite thing, which is wiring. But luckily, OLM makes it relatively really simple. So this is their quick connect harness. This will connect to the body harness. This will connect to the tail light. And then somewhere along the way, we steal some power for the brake lights. Now there's in total 5 wires, but the 3 that we don't need, I went ahead and just zip tied them up. Now, the pink wire will be for the running lights and the red wire for the brake lights. On the taillight side, green is running lights, red is brake lights. So basically, all we need to do is crimp on some of these included connectors, and then we can get back to the car, run this harness through, and then install this light. There we go. There we go. Always give them just a little tug, just to make sure they won't come apart from vibrations and stuff like that. But all right, we're good. Now to run our harness through and install our new light. All right, now we can go ahead and connect this to the harness. And there is a pretty big open space down there, so you can't just run this stuff right on straight down. Hopefully. And now to just go fish it out from the bottom. All right, as you guys can see, we have our little quick connect harness wires poking through. So now all we need to do is connect everything. Okay. There we go. We're gonna leave our wires for the switch hanging out a little bit. Then try and get these kind of tucked into the bumper a bit. This is something I should have mentioned earlier. There's a lot of excess of this brake and running light wire, so honestly, if I was to go back and do it, I'd probably cut these like in half and then put the little connectors on them. But too late now, we're getting this done. Ooh, baby. Okay, now let's tuck up some of these wires, connect our little F1 on-off switch, and then put our new center diffuser piece back. So here's all the excess we have. I'm simply just going to bunch it up and then zip tie it up somewhere by maybe like the bumper support. Mainly you just want to keep it clear of the exhaust, of course, because it will absolutely melt through all this. And yeah, try to get it tucked higher up so then it's out of the elements. All right, so we have our excess wires tucked up. Now all that's left to do before we put our new center diff piece in is to wire up our F1 switch, which is super easy. The connector's already there. I would just like to point out that without touching anything with the F1 on-off function, my light came with the F1 function already on. That means when I first press the brake, the center brake lights flash 5 times instead of just turning solid. So if you're somebody who likes the F1 function and never see yourself turning it off, then you can just simply tuck these wires with the rest of them and tie them off. But if you're somebody who doesn't want the F1 function, then there is a nice little spot where you can run these two. Let me show you. All right, as you can see, we're underneath the car now, where we have a couple of grommets on the frame rail. Now, if you take one of these out, you can actually run that wire in there and it will pop out in the spare wheel well in the trunk. That's where you can just keep the switch and whenever you feel like it, flick it on or off. Now me, personally, I am a big fan of the F1 function, so I'm just simply going to tuck mine away, but just wanted to give you guys a quick, neat little idea. All right, now we just gotta get our new center diffuser piece on, so since this light is a little bit taller, they included a new center diffuser piece. I don't know if you can tell from the camera, but it is quite a bit taller of an opening here. Finish-wise, literally pretty much virtually identical. This maybe has a slight bit of a rougher texture to it, but oh yeah, it'll match just fine. So let's get this all clipped in. Beauty, and get our 3 bottom clips in. And that's the 4th brake light. Let's move on to the tail lights. Since we already have our left one out, this one's gonna be a piece of cake. I think the hardest part is gonna be just unwrapping this thing. Just gotta connect our quick connect harness before we put the tail light in. Voila! Now we just gotta get our 3 10mm bolts on our little cover and do the same on the other side. Easy as that. Well, the taillights were sure as hell easy. Now, all we have left is our little high mount light. So first, we'll have to take off this cover. There's 7 pop clips on it. Next, we have 4 8mm bolts on the outside. Then we have 2 connectors we have to undo and 6 8mm nuts. Okay, now we just got to push these grommets through. Now we just have these 6 8mm nuts. Now, I'd personally recommend loosening them instead of taking them all the way off, because then you also have some clips on the trunk clip that are pretty hard to unclip. So leave the nuts on, we'll just make sure that we don't accidentally like rip our spoiler off and scratch the trunk with the studs or something. You know, those kind of infomercial scenarios, they do happen when you're working on cars. Also, make sure not to lose these, because it seems like it'd be pretty easy to drop them in the trunk lid and probably be a nightmare getting them out. All right, so we have all those loosened. I'm just resting our trunk lid on the OLM box, just in case those connectors we undid will prevent us from opening the trunk from the outside. Oh boy, I've heard this was gonna be awkward to do alone. There we go. I think there's gotta be another one. There we go. That's the driver's side. So we have a couple more on the passenger. All right. No, trunk, don't come up. Do not come up. That looked like a clip. Okay. All right, now let's switch the slide out. All right, so it seems all we have here is simply 2 Phillips screws and then just a little connector. All right, that's the stock one out. All right, and just to show you guys, I'll go ahead and wire a little F1 on switch on this guy. So you'll need 2 female connectors. OLM includes a bunch extra in the quick connect kit, so that shouldn't be a problem. Okay. That guy's in there too. We can just hook that up. And voila, we'll probably just run this with this connector and just leave it under the little trunk cover. Okay, now let's get our new light in place. Now we just need to put these 2 little plastic posts back in. Gotta love magnetic screwdrivers to make stuff like this so much easier. All right, new light is in place. Let's throw this thing back on. Looks like we can't fit the switch through the hole, so we'll have to unplug that. Let's try and get at least 1 grommet on, so we don't have to battle it after this thing's on. Try and push our second one through. Okay. Pop our clips back in. Uh-oh. Okay. Yeah. It's in. All right, now that our trunk lip's back on, we just gotta button up our connectors, put our nuts and bolts back on, plug in our little F1 function on-off switch, and get our trunk cover back on, and we're done. Easier said than done, I guess, right? Connector on off. Okay. And let's get trunk cover on. And we're done! Stoked. All right, without further ado, let's see what these puppies look like. All right, so running lights are on. Stab the brake pedal. Go to reverse. Oh wow, that does look quite a bit brighter. All right, so now that we're done admiring these and actually installing them, let's talk a little bit about them. So overall, you get a total of 4 different combinations for each of these. You have either a clear lens or a smoked lens, and a white bar or a red bar. The bar version referring to the daytime running housing, you can either have it in white or red, both for the bottom light and the tail lights. Now, I went for red bar, of course, smoked lens. I love the way smoked lenses look on the white car. I just think it gives the car a bit more depth. I know clear tails are all the rage right now, but me personally, I think clear tails on a white car kind of look like shit. But as always, looks are subjective, so you guys let me know what you think about this. Now, we'll focus on the taillights a bit more. We have this really cool sequential turn signal pattern that I love. I love that it swoops a little bit down and makes kind of a little of a C shape inside of the daytime running housing. And a nice little touch is that the side marker is no longer just a reflector. It actually has a little light inside of it, which is a nice touch. Now, our actual brake lights are also pretty dang bright. What else is bright is our reverse lights down here. As you'll see in the comparison that I'm about to show you, the OLM reverse lights are a whole lot brighter than OEM, which should make the reverse camera a whole lot easier to use at night. I have been stuck a couple times on, a street that doesn't have any lampposts, so it's just complete pitch black darkness, and reversing can be a bit of a hassle. So those should make it easier. Now, we also can't forget about the F1 function. I know that a lot of people love it, but there's also a group of people out there that really don't like it, which is really nice that OLM lets you turn those functions on and off. Personally, like I said, I really do like them. I think if there is a distracted driver behind you on their phone and it's a little bit later, that flashing might just bring them to their senses, saving you, a really, really bad time. Getting rear-ended is really not fun. Ask me how I know. Now that's going to wrap up today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you by chance found this video entertaining or useful. And as always, I'll leave all the parts that I used in the description down below. As always, love all you guys. I hope all of you are having a great day, and I'll see you guys next time where we'll be fixing the fitment and alignment on our BRZ.